Yo, it's Ishues, Coach Ish, whatever you want to call me. Let's talk about some boxing. Female boxing this time. Female boxer. Claressa Shields. Oh, Lord. Yo, Clarissa Shields, please stop. Please, come on, man. All of this talk about fighting Keith Thurman, come on, man. Listen, Clarissa Shields has 14 fights. 14. She has 2 stoppages in those 14 fights. 2. Clarissa Shields has only fought women. And out of only fighting women, she has 2 stoppages out of 14 wins. Keith Thurman has 22 stoppages, 22 KOs, 22. He has 20 more knockouts than Clarissa Shields. And he's only fought men. All of this nonsense about she thinks she can outbox him. Whoever believes that is stupid. Let me explain something about boxing. Part of being able to this is the reason why weight classes are so important. This is the reason why the same reason why weight classes are so important is the same reason why Clarissa Shields, even if she's in Keith Thurman's weight class, she's not in Keith Thurman's weight class. Because the purpose for weight classes give you a distinct strength advantage. So even if Clarissa Shields weighs in at 147, Keith Thurman weighs in at 147, Keith Thurman has a significant strength advantage. You're not outboxing nobody you can't keep off you. Part of being able to outbox someone is to have respectable power. That's why boxing within your weight class is so important. You can't be a welterweight with regular power for a welterweight thinking you're going to outbox. Well, I mean, if somebody can't box or they just terrible at boxing, they levels below you. But I'm talking about on the same level. On the same level. You're not going to be a welterweight fighting a heavyweight or light heavyweight or cruiserweight. And you can't hit. Like in sparring, where the cruiserweight might just be giving the welterweight some work. So he's kind of letting him out. He's not doing the things that he need to do to neutralize him. He's just letting him kind of get his thing off. He's letting him outbox him because he's not landing big shots on him. He's not really trying to hurt him. But in a boxing match where 2 people are trying to hurt each other, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You outbox them so you can hurt them, and they can't hurt you. That's what boxing is. Hurting your opponent, and they can't hurt you. Keeping them from hurting you while you hurt them. That's boxing. So, you got to have respectable power. Clarissa Shields only stopped 2 women. Keith Thurman has knocked out 22 women. Because the right shot, like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the face. To really break that down, because it's not just a punch in the face. To really break that down, what he's trying to say is, once you get hurt, once you get hit with a shot that hurts you, it short circuits everything that you think about. Now you go into survival mode. Now you're trying to figure out how not to get hit again like that. And sometimes it's unavoidable. So Clarissa Shields talking about she could beat Keith, and she's done it. She said the same thing about Triple G. She could outbox Triple G. Then she said something. She could beat Jake Paul. Jake Paul's not a good boxer, but Jake Paul would, man, come on, man. Clarissa Shields not beating Jake Paul, Keith Thurman, or Triple G. And I really wish she would stop it and just be like, all of this calling yourself the GOAT has gone to her. All of this stuff where she's calling herself the GOAT has gone to her head. It's gone to her head, and it's going to get her hurt. Maybe not, because I believe her people are smart enough not to put her in the ring with Keith Thurman. But just the fact that you may not get yourself hurt, but you're going to get some little girls who look up to you, you're going to get them hurt. You can't beat no Keith Thurman. You can't beat Keith Thurman. Claressa Shields, you can't beat Keith Thurman. You cannot beat Keith Thurman unless Keith Thurman allows you to beat him. When you in the gym sparring with dudes, you sparring with dudes and they letting you get your thing off. They're allowing you to get your thing off. Because it doesn't do them any justice or any good to beat you up. So you are allowed to get your thing off. You're allowed to oh, that was good. Oh, wow, man, you did well in sparring. That's sparring. That's sparring. It's not an actual fight. Shadisha Green. I've just kind of gotten hip to Shadisha Green. I like Shadisha Green. And I like her response when they asked her the same thing. They asked her about Clarissa Shields, wanting to fight a dude. She said, good on her. That's she's going for greatness. That's great. I like that she didn't bash her. But then they asked her about it, and she kept it a buck. And Shadisha Green got more knockouts than Clarissa Shields. Shadisha Green is actually putting broads to sleep. They asked her about it. She said, fighting men is a whole different ball game. Fighting men for real, nah. It's a whole different ball game. She said it. And you got Clarissa Shields, who, because she's accomplished all these things, two-time Olympian, two-time undisputed, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? All these different things, which I don't weigh the same as Clarissa Shields, once you say it, two-time undisputed in two different weight class, to me is not comparable to being that as a man, because the pool of men is a lot deeper. Point blank. The pool of women is not as deep as the pool of men. The competition you got to go through to be two-time undisputed as a man in professional boxing is not the same as the competition you got to go through to be two-time undisputed as a woman in two different weight classes in boxing. That's just a fact. Women boxing just hasn't existed long enough to be right on par with the men. You know what I'm saying? It's a very good accomplishment, but I think all of those accomplishments is kind of going to her head. And she can't just be humble enough to just be cool with being, I'm top of women's boxing. Now she's, I could beat men. You can't beat Keith Thurman in no boxing match. You cannot beat Keith Thurman in a boxing match. Anyone who believes that Clarissa Shields could beat Keith Thurman in a boxing match don't know anything about boxing. You don't know anything about boxing. She doesn't have the power to beat Keith Thurman in a boxing match. She might be able to get her thing off for a round or two, you know what I'm saying? But once Keith Thurman get his rhythm and lock in and all that, and he's really trying to, he's fighting her like he's fighting Sean Porter or somebody like that. He's really trying to hurt her. Man, he'll stop Clarissa Shields and he'll hurt her permanently. He'll hurt her permanently. And the thing about Clarissa Shields saying she can outbox him, it's not like Clarissa Shields is the type of boxer where she don't get touched. She gets touched. You can look at her face. Look at her. You can see all the scar tissue on her face. Look at it. Even when she's not boxing, look at it. It's not no amount of makeup can cover up all the scar tissue on Clarissa Shields' face. Because she's not known for not getting hit. She's not a Floyd Mayweather type of boxer. She's not a, you know what I mean? She has decent defense. She has good defense. But she's not defensive. She has good defense, but she's not a defensive fighter. She's an offensive fighter. She's a pressure fighter. She comes at you with punches and all different types of angles and different things like that. But a lot of times she's coming right down the line. She has decent head movement, but her head movement ain't crazy. You know what I'm saying? And your head movement gotta be on a next level because, you know, Keith Thurman has quicker reflexes than you. Keith Thurman is faster, he's stronger. Them punches coming from him full speed is not like any opponent, any of your 14 opponents that you face don't have the same reflexes, don't have the same fast twitch muscles, don't have the same strength, the same power, the same pop. You know, Keith Thurman has all the advantages in the world. And you haven't fought anybody. You probably sparred some people. You ain't fought nobody to prepare you for no Keith Thurman. And even Jake Paul. She'll get smoked by Jake Paul. And Jake Paul can barely even box. But it'll be the same situation like the MMA fighter who transitioned. It was an MMA fighter who transitioned to a woman and was a Marine at first. Marine, a bodybuilder, you know, slimmed down, transitioned to a woman, fought a woman in an MMA match. That woman who the trans woman fought had way more skills and was boom, 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 putting hands and feet on. But she couldn't hurt. She couldn't hurt her. Him, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't hurt the trans woman. So the trans woman channeled her inner man and just manhandled her. Picked her up, slammed her on the ground, choked her out, end of the fight. Beat her all up, end of the fight. There's a distinct difference. Especially when we talking about in boxing. That's a lose-lose for Keith Thurman. But if he decided to be like, you know what, all right, man, let's get it. Man, please, man. He smoked Clarissa Shields. Jake Paul, if he decided to say, you know what, man, let's get it. I don't think Jake Paul will ever do it because part of Jake Paul's whole thing is he's kind of like building up women's boxing. Which, you know, for what he's doing for women's boxing, why would you even call him out? Like, out of respect for what Jake Paul is taking it upon himself to do for women's boxing, why would you even, I could beat Jake Paul? Come on, man. What if he decided to take you up on that? Jake Paul would smoke Clarissa Shields. He's too big, he hits too hard, nothing she could do to hurt him. And once you're in the ring with somebody and you taste the best that they have and you realize that they can't hurt you, then it becomes an easy affair after that. If you have any sort of boxing about you and the person can't hurt you, it becomes an easy affair after that. Or you can just throw boxing to the window, walk them down, and hurt them. You know you can hurt them, they can't hurt you. After a while, you can just walk them down. Take whatever they got, walk them down, and hurt them. And that's what happened to Clarissa Shields. Like I say, I respect what Shadisha Green said. I would like to see, you talking about, you know, that, fight Shadisha Green. I'd like to see that. Shadisha Green can go. She got skills. She could punch. You know what I'm saying? I done seen her put a couple chicks to sleep, put a couple chicks down. She definitely got more power than Clarissa Shields. I don't know if she's a better boxer. We'll see. But she can box. She looks good to me. But more importantly, I like when they asked her about, you know, you fighting a man, she kept it a buck. She did the same thing Serena Williams did. She kept it a buck. So they asked Serena Williams, try to get Serena Williams in that same, can you beat a man? She said, no. The men game and the woman game is different. Shadisha Green said the same thing. Yeah, I've sparred with men before, but sparring is not the same thing as fighting them. And they asked her that based on Clarissa Shields talking about she could beat Keith Thurman. So Clarissa Shields, cut it out. Cut it out. And all those believing that Clarissa Shields can beat Keith Thurman, cut it out. All right? That's all I got for now. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Let's talk about it. Peace and love.